Hello and welcome to this episode of EPS Inspires, your periodic look at news and information from around Evergreen Public Schools. I'm Craig Birnbach. Now let's start with some great news. As you know, so many staff members have worked hard to increase EPS's high school graduation rate to over 90%. The goal is to prepare every student for life after high school. And while college might not be the right path for every kid, making college an option for as many students as possible is a major goal. That's why the district was thrilled to find out they'd be a part of a $20 million grant that focuses on students gaining early awareness and readiness for undergraduate programs, also known as Gear Up.
I was ecstatic. I had a voicemail. It was from the WSU Tri-Cities campus, and they just told us because of some extra funding and some things that has shifted, our grant application from 2018 had been accepted in 2020.
Finally, some good news in 2020, as after initially just missing out on the opportunity 2 years ago, Evergreen Public Schools is part of its first ever Gear Up grant.
It's a huge bright spot. We are so excited for the communities at Cascade, at Covington, and Y East, and just this resource for all of the 6th and 7th graders that's going to follow them on into college.
That's right, the Gear Up program is a 7-year grant. All 6th and 7th graders at Cascade, Covington, and Y East Middle School will be supported by its resources until graduation and beyond.
Thinking that these kids are going to get 7 years of support, someone that's going to be with them here at Y East and follow them to Mountain View, and for some of them even follow them into that first year of college, it's an amazing gift.
The grant, that's facilitated through WSU Tri-Cities, provides added funds and added programs, but it also adds staff members for each school.
We'll have 2 full-time staff, and then we'll have opportunities for additional after-school or before-school tutoring.
And these staff members have one clear purpose: to get kids prepared for college.
It could be huge because we do have kids right now who do need some extra support. So by having someone in the building who is here full-time and then also providing some tutoring services will be great.
And it's something that I think will benefit them, but also their siblings. It'll benefit their families. It'll benefit the other kids here too, in terms of having all of our students see that as a pathway for their future.
The federally funded Gear Up grant is focused on leveling the playing field for all students.
The 3 schools that were chosen, they were chosen because of certain metrics that the Gear Up grant targets. And some of those metrics would be low income. It would be first generation of college going students. And it would be focusing on underrepresented students, underrepresented demographics.
Well, the program starts this year in the middle schools. When these middle school students move up to high school, the staff members and the Gear Up resources will move up with them.
So it'll be a benefit to have a familiar face, somebody they'll see right away who'll be able to support them.
Yes, they're following the entire cohorts, both cohorts, for 7 years, promoting graduation readiness and college entrance. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Students will get additional support when it comes to test preparedness and financial aid education, but it won't all come from teachers and admins. It will come from students just like them who have benefited from the Gear Up program.
For them to be able to see someone who has similar circumstances, who they really believe they can authentically relate to, tell them that, no, this is possible for you, it's plausible for you, we're going to help you make it happen. I think that's huge.
It's going to be great for them to see their peers coming back and talking to them about the success that they had and that they can do it too.
There are 9 other school districts involved in this particular Gear Up partnership that will help support almost 4,000 students. Let's head over to Evergreen High School, where we're celebrating the opening of a brand new community medical clinic. As Matt Griffin reports, it's about serving the needs of Evergreen High School students, staff, and community members right on campus.
Open for just a few weeks now, the CMAR Evergreen Medical Clinic is ready for patients.
So a student will walk into the door, they can approach the front desk, we'll have this wipe-off check-in sheet for them to write their concerns so they don't necessarily have to vocalize everything in front of everyone. The receptionist will get them on the schedule, get them all checked in.
The clinic, operated by CMAR Community Health Centers, features space for mental health services, a small lab, and 2 patient rooms, all the things you would expect to find in a medical office.
Basically, we are a resource that kids and families will be able to utilize for anything that they would need to get at any medical clinic for child's care. So anything like vaccines, any diabetes, preventive care, things like that, they could be seen here. And with the permission of parents, it can be seen even without the parents, in a way that would ease the time for parents who don't have that access or the time to take their kids to a clinic outside of school.
The clinic is open now, not just for Evergreen High School students, but their families as well, along with Evergreen teachers and staff. Principal Danny Arancha says once we can begin hybrid or in-person instruction again, the clinic will help students cut down on the hours they might be away from class for a medical appointment off campus.
And so for a teenager to be able to access that immediately on campus during the day, after school's out, I'm going to the medical center for my appointment. I think that's a big deal. It cuts down time for kids. It makes sure that kids are being seen at the appropriate times instead of putting something off that can be potentially dangerous or hazardous to their health. Or again, the behavioral health side of it is so important for our community and teenagers right now.
And that's the bottom line for Evergreen's principal and clinic administrator Quentin Harold, giving back to the community by serving their needs.
Again, I love CMAR and their mission, helping the underserved. We don't turn anyone away. And, again, I'm just honored and humbled. And, I'm glad I have a good staff behind me that feels the same way and want to make sure that, adolescents are taken care of.
It's exciting. We've always been kind of a community school, and this just adds another element to that. And so to be able to serve kids in another way beyond just education, but be able to serve their health needs, it's just exciting.
Right now, the clinic is open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. For more information about the clinic and the services provided, please visit the website on your screen, cmar.org/Clark-Medical-Evergreen. Now, in these trying times, we also want to remind you that our family and community resource centers are open and ready to support our families. The FCRCs are also working with our community partners to host pop-up pantries that are being supported by the Clark County Food Bank and Share Vancouver. This is last week's pop-up pantry at Image Elementary School.
There's apples and potatoes and fresh fruits and vegetables and milks and juices and stuff. The families really appreciate it.
These fresh food pantries are popping up every week at our schools and at other sites in Vancouver.
But it's mostly every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There's either 1 or 2 in Vancouver Public Schools and 1 or 2 in Evergreen Public Schools every week.
And you don't have to have a student attend a particular school to benefit from these pantries.
It's awesome. I mean, it's open to any, family in our school districts. It's not limited to, do you go to Image? It's whatever school is closest to you is the one that you should access.
This access, this food, this organization, it's all thanks to successful community partnerships with Share and Clark County Food Bank.
This year, because everything is different, we're trying to figure out how the best way to serve our communities were. So we decided to kind of mesh our programs and just work together to try to get food to as many people as we could.
We have a partnership with Share, but we don't typically work directly with Clark County Food Bank. So this is amazing what they can do and the amount of food that they can get.
And the food that's available at these pantries is the right kind of food.
They had a lot of feedback just saying fresh food is kind of what people are eating and wanting to give their kids, which is awesome. That's what we would want them to eat too. So this is mostly fresh food for that reason, is just what do kids and families want, and then what can we provide them. There's also some snacks because all humans still like snacks.
And the snacks come with smiles behind the masks and with an appreciation for the support that our community partners provide Evergreen Public School families.
Our community relationships are key, especially during a time like this when there are maybe more needs.
What an awesome program and partnership. Please stay with us. There's more EPS Inspires coming up right after this quick break. Hello and welcome back to EPS Inspires. And Evergreen Public Schools career and technical education programs rely heavily on project-based learning, but have faced a unique challenge with the switch to remote learning 2.0. Matt Griffin visited the floral design programs at Evergreen, Mountain View, and Heritage High Schools to see how teachers are working to preserve some hands-on learning.
It's a busy day for floral design teachers and their students at Evergreen, Mountain View, and Heritage High Schools.
So this is going to be your kit, and it has your sketchbook in here with a pencil sharpener, your floral tape. These are the wires that go with the first video that you're going to, and your tape is inside.
As they'll be doing for the duration of Remote Learning 2.0, floral students will be stopping by their respective schools each week to pick up the flowers they'll need to complete projects at home.
Today I'm helping my teacher make kits for her floral students and also some of her horticulture students. They're planning on making little corsages tomorrow, and so today they're just picking up those items that they're going to need to make this corsage, and then over Zoom she's going to go over the steps and show them how to make it so that they can make them from the safety of their homes.
So I'm going to take these mums off.
What would normally be hands-on learning in the classroom now has teachers recording lessons for students to watch online.
I'm stretching the tape as I'm going.
They have to learn how to tape and wire for mechanics to create a fake stem for these flowers. So this is for them to practice. And there's a Flipgrid video that I show them how to do it, and then they have to demonstrate back to me.
So what I'm finding, we're working all online now, and I use Google Classroom for all my videos and for pretty much everything that I do. And so what I'm finding is the kids are actually learning the content a little bit better by being able to not only watch it live, but then to go back and watch the recorded.
And these students tell me, whether it's in person or online, their teachers encourage them to be creative.
So right now, this has rhythm, it has harmony, it has balance between the orange and the yellow, which is important.
I like that you get to be open and creative with whatever you want to make. Like Miss LaFave, she won't tell you how to make something. Well, she'll like show you how to, but she won't tell you make it exactly the same.
And all of the teachers tell me the Remote Learning 2.0 experience is showing them just how resilient their students are at adapting to change, and praise their students for making online learning a two-way street.
We are reinventing the assignment for an online platform, and that's been a challenge, learning all of the new programs. At my age, they don't come as quickly. But I'm muddling through. I have students that teach me on our Google Meets how to do something, and they get credit for that because that's how we are in the classroom.
Thanks a lot, Matt. And many of the flowers and plants used in our horticulture and floral design programs are donated through a community partnership with Trader Joe's and Safeway, and we want to thank those companies for their support of our students and our schools. Now a story that's all about inspiration and how one woman's experience as a student at Riverview Elementary School may have inspired her to return in a different role over a decade later.
Nice job, Emma. Go ahead.
Nobody had to show Angela Quidditch where her kindergarten classroom was at Riverview Elementary School.
You are so welcome. Practice reading those books a couple times. And
That's because Angela Quidditch, current Riverview kindergarten teacher, was once Angela Quidditch, Riverview kindergarten student, circa 2001.
It's super weird. It's weird to walk these hallways as someone who is in charge of kids and not as the kid.
Oh, it gets even better. Back in 2001, Angela's kindergarten teacher was Jody Brousseau, who, you guessed it, is still at Riverview teaching, you guessed it, kindergarten.
She looks the exact same as she did 19 years ago.
Not only am I teaching with a former student, but I am teaching with a former student who had me as a kindergarten teacher in the same classroom.
Angela and Jody aren't just teammates, they're neighbors.
Oh, I'm right next door. Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
It is really crazy.
I get to see her greeting students out front, and it's lovely. She's an amazing teammate.
At first, treating your first ever teacher as a coworker isn't easy.
The first time I saw her this year, I told her, it's going to be weird for me to call you Mrs. Brousseau, or to call you Jody. And she goes, please try your hardest.
Angela, who previously taught kindergarten in Washougal, says that she jumped at the opportunity when she heard there was a long-term substitution opening at her former school.
She had great experience as well and came highly recommended, but we just thought it was really neat to have the opportunity to hire one of our former students.
For Mrs. Brousseau, seeing her former kindergarten student teaching kindergarten is special.
Absolutely, and she loves kindergarten, loves teaching kindergarten, and hopefully that's because there was a special seed planted in her heart when she was in kindergarten, although I don't think she remembers it very well.
But what Angela does remember is that Riverview is a special place for students and teachers.
Definitely think, your elementary school is somewhere that's, always a part of you, and it's nice to get to come back and then to be right next door to my teacher is really exciting.
Angela isn't just teaching with her former kindergarten teacher. Her first grade teacher is also still on the staff at Riverview Elementary School. Now, for more information on what's going on around Evergreen Public Schools, let's toss things over to Matt Griffin for some social media moments.
Thanks, Craig, and let's begin with some Envision Evergreen construction bond updates and the 6-month mark of construction on the new Mountain View High School. Gone are the old athletic fields and courts, and the new foundation is going in. Construction is proceeding on track for a grand opening in the fall of 2022. And Legacy High School Principal Heather Fowler and Hollingsworth Academy Principal Amber Lindley recently got a tour of the new Legacy High School, Hollingsworth Academy, and Transitions Program buildings. Walls are going up and the new facilities are scheduled to open in the fall of 2021. As always, thank you to the voters who supported the 2018 Envision Evergreen Facilities Bond. Now something we're doing every Monday, Mask Up Monday. This one features our maintenance and ground staff taken from the extended lift of a boom truck. This group works behind the scenes to keep more than 40 district buildings, schools, and grounds in great shape. Now some Pioneer Pride in action. Pioneer Elementary School's Child Study Team wanted to thank students and parents for their efforts during remote learning. So they put together activity kits for surprise delivery to students. The kits contained learning activities, a certificate of appreciation for students, and a book donated by the Fort Vancouver Regional Library District. Something similar over at Pacific Middle School, where more than 600 students dropped by to pick up at-home science kits. Staff solicited donations and put the kits together so students could continue doing hands-on science experiments at home. And we want to say thank you to the Evergreen School District Foundation, which recently donated more than 300 student backpacks to schools around our district. And we want to say thank you to the generous donors who helped the foundation raise more than $105,000 to help our students and school families with things like senior scholarships, classroom teacher grants, and the work of our school-based pantries. And last but not least, congratulations once again to the Evergreen Public Schools Board of Directors. For the 6th time in the last decade, the board was named a Washington State School Board of Distinction for demonstrating a clear link between their leadership and closing gaps that impact student success. We want to thank board members Julie Bocanegra, Victoria Bradford, Ginny Gronwalt, Rachel Rogers, and Rob Perkins for their dedication to our schools. That's certainly just a glimpse of what you'll see on our social media accounts, so we encourage you to check them out. There is more EPS Inspires coming up with Craig Birnbach after this short break.
Our fight against coronavirus isn't over. We still have to slow the spread and do our part. Let's wear face masks in public. Stay 6 feet or more from others. Follow state and local guidelines. Wash our hands frequently and stay home when we feel safe. For ourselves, for our loved ones, for our future. Let's move forward together. Learn more at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to EPS Inspires. Now we want to invite you to take a walk in Mr. Solberg's outdoor classroom. Frontier Middle School's Matthew Solberg decided that if he can't bring his students into his classroom, he'd bring the classroom to them. All the students need to bring is their curiosity and a cell phone. Frontier Middle School's Matthew Solberg knows that because of the coronavirus, he can't bring students into his classroom.
I was trying to think of creative ideas to get my students outdoors, interacting with nature.
Mr. Solberg teaches a natural resources and wildlife conservation class. So of course, his great idea was born while he was on a walk in nature, right? Well, not quite.
After going to a restaurant and scanning a QR code, I thought, why can't I do this?
That's right, bringing home a takeout dinner helped make Mr. Solberg realize that if he can't bring students into his classroom, he'd bring the classroom to them. And what a beautiful classroom it is.
I made QR codes on a free trial for 2 weeks. I made QR codes, and this links students to a Google Doc that I can change at any point. And I'm putting them outside by some different areas in nature. These are some beautiful Douglas fir trees.
Mr. Solberg has put up these QR codes all around Frontier Middle School. Now all his students need to do is use their cell phone camera and they'll be connected to an instant science lesson.
I tried to go off students' interests, so I heard that some of my students were interested in geology, and I have very little experience in geology, so when I went hiking, I looked for some interesting rocks. I reached out to some friends, and I've included some rocks in this activity just to engage those kids.
But it's not just his students that he's engaging. Anyone can scan the QR codes and enter Solberg's virtual classroom.
I did not anticipate doing an activity that I could reach out to the greater community and involve the community in learning more about nature here in Vancouver. But I'm excited too.
But this is a special experience for Solberg students because for them it's not just a science lesson, it's a scavenger hunt.
On some of these QR codes there are secret codes, and students in my class can provide those codes to me, and I will give them a certificate at the end of this activity.
Mr. Solberg's such a creative teacher. Now, as you've seen already, Remote Learning 2.0 has certainly changed the way students are learning, perhaps most dramatically in our music programs. So when Mountain View High School's band teachers learned of an opportunity to have their students take part in a clinic featuring musicians you'll see and hear at next month's presidential inauguration, you know they jumped at the chance. Once again, here's Matt Griffin.
They perform hundreds of times each year for presidents, prime ministers, kings, and queens. The United States Marine Band's mission is to perform for the President of the United States and the Commandant of the Marine Corps, often at the White House and other historic locations. Founded in 1798, the U.S. Marine Band is America's oldest continuously active professional musical organization.
The band is made up of some of the best musicians in the world. It's comparable in performer quality to any of the top orchestras anywhere. And so I saw a post about this opportunity to request virtual visits in the month of October and early November with the Marine Band, and I jumped on board and reached out to them to see if we could be a part of it here at Mountain View.
With the coronavirus curtailing many of their performances and in-person clinics at schools around the country, members of the U.S. Marine Band are now offering virtual clinics.
Since we're stuck in our homes, this virtual trip around the country and visiting 45 states has just been a fantastic way to kind of keep something normal in our lives as best as we can. I love being around students and working with them every week.
Mountain View hosted 2 clinics, one with flutist Ellen Dooley and another with percussionist Christopher Rose. The musicians spoke with students about breathing and playing techniques and how to get the most out of practice.
To me, it doesn't matter what it is you warm up with. It's just as long as you just keep your hands moving, okay? Just keep them going for whatever it is. But I like to try to mix it up with 16ths and triplets. So I'll start off with something simple, like, I'll just play a little rhythms like,
The musicians also spoke about their experiences in the U.S. Marine Band, including this viral video moment when Master Gunnery Sergeant Christopher Rose backed up President Barack Obama and Lin-Manuel Miranda, the star of the musical Hamilton. For his students, band director Mark Clausen says the virtual format and his students' familiarity with technology has eased some of the difficulty with online music instruction.
The thing that they bring naturally to this is this social medium, that everything technical can be social, because that's what they've grown up in.
And for the musicians leading the clinics, it's also a way to present information that teachers may have presented, but in a different way.
It's nice to see faces that light up when you say something. And it's also nice to see a teacher's face light up when I say the exact same thing that the teacher's probably been saying to them over and over. So if I can help them too, then it was totally worth it.
That's something that I really get out of it, is watching these kids adapt and thrive is just amazing.
We want to thank those musicians for their service to our country and for taking the time to work with our students. And of course, we'll keep an eye out for them on Inauguration Day. All right, well, that's it for this episode of EPS Inspires. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Craig Birnbach. Here's a look at how you can keep up to date with Evergreen Public Schools on social media. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/EvergreenPS. Follow us on Twitter at EvergreenPS. Our Instagram account is evergreen_public_schools. And check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EvergreenSchools.